Well, in retrospect, the 2018 election was very historic, and to be a part of that and to go through that process was exciting and interesting. All kinds of emotions were attached to it. I really enjoyed it, and I learned a lot. And you can't say that we didn't make mistakes because we did make mistakes. Um, it wasn't really a coalition government per se. Our leader went and met with the lieutenant governor and gave her assurances that for 18 months we wouldn't vote down any confidence motions. So that's the extent of the coalition government that you speak of, but it was really just kind of an agreement. Uh, that in itself is something I wouldn't do again. We would go in there and we would deal with things on a one issue basis as we went along. I'm not prepared to do that. I'm not prepared to prop up any government and then get the smell of that on me. Because I know that a lot of people thought we were too close to the Higgs, and in retrospect, I think that they were partially right. But I understand how they felt about it, and I'm not going there again from that experience. And like I said, we would go in and we would do things on a one-on-one, one basis or one issue at a time. And as far as the other parties go, it would be on the same basis. If they had a good idea that we supported, we would support it. I mean, back in that situation I was in, I supported a liberal motion in respect to what they called anti-scab legislation. So, no, excuse me, it wasn't anti-scab. It was binding arbitration. I supported a liberal motion on that, but that doesn't mean that I wouldn't support the same thing for the Greens if it was presented. Like we supported the Greens on the no spraying issue because they got the motion in before we did because they had seniority, so they get their first kick at the cat. So to introduce motions, the way the process works, it's the Liberals and the Greens and then us and then the government, or the government, and that kind of order. We were always last. So the Greens got the drop on us on some of the issues of putting them out there, but that didn't mean they weren't issues that we grasped or that we didn't like. A lot of it was things that we did like and that we did support. But there were times that we all voted differently. I remember one time on that binding arbitration one, I'm pretty sure that Chris voted different than Michelle and I. So it was fun. It was a good way to have government. I thought it was effective. I think that with what all of the parties have learned back from that, I think that if we end up in another coalition situation or a minority government situation, that we could make it work better. And I can't see how that would hurt the province. Like minority governments survive all over the world and they do wonderful things, especially in Europe.
To support, go to peoplesalliance.ca.